All right, we are live. That was almost a good start. And I did just realize I didn't change the latency stuff. Let me look at this. Hopefully this does it now, because I don't want a minute delay. I usually put the delay. Oh, are you serious? I can't do it right now?
Technology.
Oh, wait, it's got to. Oh, I can't do it now, I guess. Darn it. Oh, are they seriously going to get a minute delay? I always turn the delay to 0 and then low latency so we get the stuff real quick. But apparently, since I started it, I can't get it back. So we'll be probably dealing with some funky delay. Good deal. Show number what? 16, 17, ta-da!
I think we're on 17. We did do one last week. Yeah, 17 because you said 16 last week.
Right on. Oh gosh.
So
Hey,
lucky
Wolf
17.
Lord Lewis. Thanks for making it. I chose 4. I was trying to do 4. There were so many good ones. I'm gonna do this one, this one, this one, which I don't even know what it was, but it was such a cool photo. I know. And in this one, someone submitted last week, and I remembered it because I wanted to do these glows. I was like, oh, I could do it. He's got that furnace chest. So I was like, I'm going to try something on that. So I edited them out, the backgrounds, and I kind of started. This one I got carried away with a bit and would probably I would have probably kept working on it. And I'm like, no, stop. So what do I have here?
You've teased it and tweaked it.
I did the background. Wait, I can flick all these on. So hang on.
Yes, you are back in black, Wolf Lord, and hi, Rich and Mr. Spats.
Oh, Rich, thanks for making it. What is that? Okay, so I isolated that one. And I dropped the background in. Then it was I saw some energy thing kind of behind, so I put that in. Actually, I put this next, and then I put this in to start bringing out the glow. Dropped in some barrier, a little more, and highlighted them. And this one looked like a title image, so I'm like, I gotta drop the title in there for now. It looks like it'd be a cover with the way he's looking and everything. I forget Heresy Minis. I don't want to misquote where the miniature company is, but I never saw this mini before, and it was posted. I was like, wow, that's tripped out. And anyone knew who's watching, I did some artwork for the Rain and Hell game. So that was in there. I was like, well, if someone's starting a cabal, I wanted to paint over a few people who were playing the game. And someone submitted this, and it was just such a cool mini to me. And I was like, all right, I got to do something with it. So that's the one I'm going to start with. And that's enough babbling for me now. What's up, Lee?
Yeah, well, I'll just say hi, Crimson, because he's always straight in there with a Lee! To be honest, looking at this thing here, I was listening to Mortis, which is the latest Siege of Terror book, on my way home to here for this evening. And seeing that sort of, body demon-y type thing, it's just reminded me of something I was being described whilst driving, and I was actually eating at the same time. I thought, right, I know I'm not that hungry. I'll just grab something from a petrol station and chomp on it as I'm driving. And I was doing that, and then you get a scene involving some Nurgle pus marine.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. It makes the food go down really well.
Perfect. Not like a little double egg sack thing going on.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I'm traumatized now.
I'm going to order some more brush. Not order, but I want to look around for some more brushes. It's been a while since I bought some, and this one's kind of cool. Like, drops these little like, whatever these circle type things are. So I want to,
Mysterons.
yeah. So I want to drop some of those, and then a nice cheap trick to anyone watching is you drop it flat like that, and they all look flat and straight on. But if you distort it this way, they kind of lay flat if you can see them because you're distorting the image, so you get that little bit.
It's rather funky.
Yeah, sometimes like I've done this on a couple things, and then I always, if I remember something works, and I try to like find the appropriate way to use it and what it would work for. I don't know if
All
that
part of the
works with
toolkit.
that. It's a lot of trial and error.
we all know about that.
Yeah.
I know, I've got a great idea. I'm going to do this with some paints. And then you do it and you go, oh my God, I'm horrified at what I did. Let's burn it.
That's why I'm always like, don't be a hero. Like, I'll be like, oh, I'm going to go put this on there. I can do that. I'm like, don't be a hero. Just get the basics in. And then if you can go above that, like, concentrate on the fundamentals.
Wolflord straight in there with Dune! And Crimson stepping in to say it's too early for Dune.
Yeah.
It's the whole British summertime and like sort of time difference between the East Coast and like UK, Europe. Obviously, Dune time now is normally around about 8 p.m. You're 7, but obviously we started earlier, so it was
I think we have the worst timed show out there. Like, I don't think anyone on YouTube is live streaming right now with a regular show.
Worst timed, but we are regularly on stream.
Hey, we are. That's right.
We're consistent. Our consistency levels is fantastic. Nobody beats us for consistency. I
can't believe we did over 17 of these or so.
I don't know how we haven't been banned from the airwaves, to be honest.
It lets me know how old I'm getting when it was like 17 already. If you would have asked me, I probably would have said, oh, we did like 7, 8 of these or something. And that's knowing every week. I can't believe how many we did. And it still doesn't seem like that many.
Yeah. Well, so I remember you saying like back in the early days, you were saying like, oh, I think we've done about 2 or 3. I'm like, we've done about 6. I've counted. We've done 10 now. So yes,
wow,
we're just consistent. We're consistent. We're on time.
Yeah,
we involve everyone in the stream who like to come in and chat with us.
I know it is nice. People were like, "Okay, oh wait, there we go. We got some words.
We have got lots of words. The
Mr. Spats is messing with his 3D printer.
Goose Hydra.
You never did. You're not messing with any 3D printing, are you, Lee?
No. I've got plans for 3D printers, but that involves aliens, not Doom. Because I've recently acquired some STLs, and I'm having to use my friend's 3D technology to print off, hopefully, a pulse rifle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was obviously for me, Aliens is again one of the seminal works of the 80s sci-fi genre, and it is a cornerstone for anyone who loves sci-fi and aliens and firearms.
Yeah, it was a trip with Aliens, how they had almost 2 different type of movies be kind of huge successes right after each other. To go from Alien, which is almost like more horror, and then have another massive, probably even bigger success with Aliens. That was pretty crazy.
Well, I always remember that Aliens was like the for a sequel was as good as the original, because obviously they are totally 2 different. So you've got your gun flick, you in Aliens, but then you've got that sort of the thriller, suspense / horror of Alien. So they're totally different, but it works. But even like I know like Alien 3 gets a lot of
it had some good parts. I thought I was a little more forgiving. Not as good as I think. Is 3 the one where they're on the prison planet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fury 161.
It was a director. I think the director at that time had done a lot of music videos, and that was one of his first big movies. And and so it was like it was interesting, but to me, not near in the league as the first two.
Well, that's the thing. Like, obviously, the first one you had Ridley Scott, then you had James Cameron, who was coming off of the back of Terminator.
Yeah.
But then again, James Cameron's first film was Piranha 2.
Was it? I didn't know that.
Yeah. And he didn't get to finish it. He got basically fired.
Seriously, it was Piranha 2?
Before he started directing, he was actually a lorry driver.
Oh wow!
He had an interest in sort of cameras, technology, and all that sort of thing. And somehow, through learning about these sort of technologies that was still sort of like coming in, all the new stuff and all that, he got to work on Piranha 2. As I said, he started it and didn't finish it because he got basically kicked off. But then he came along and obviously got Terminator off. And then that was it. That was the start. And because he was continued to do what he was doing, like the sort of like what George Lucas did in his early days, where George Lucas created Industrial Light and Magic. He funneled a lot of that money into ILM. James Cameron done the same sort of thing with his own sort of like special effects.
Yeah.
So that's why he's like, camera work. He was like,
he did a lot of the undersea stuff too with the Titanic.
Oh, the Abyss, yeah. And like they say that technology to use the alien from the Abyss, the water alien.
Yeah.
That was just like, that was cutting edge, and that didn't look shoddy. Admittedly, I haven't watched the Abyss in a while, so I don't know how well it's holding up. But it was again, great film, and you had Michael Biehn in it, Ed Harris, and what's the name, Master Antonio.
Elizabeth Master
Antonio, yeah. So quite a good cast in there as well.
Oh yeah, Evil Dead was like that. It started with true horror. Evil Dead 2 was a horror comedy, and Army of Darkness was a fantasy comedy horror.
Yeah. Well, Evil Dead, I actually saw that when I was about 5 or 6. It was like I have older brothers, and we had a VHS video recorder, and as soon as it came out on VHS, they borrowed it. They borrowed it from the local video store, and little 6-year-old, 7-year-old me sitting there wondering what the hell the voice was doing. So yeah.
I'm not getting anywhere. I'm playing with the button. I'm reading, and I'm not doing it. I tried 2 things on the Paintover and erased it. So far, I'm in the hole.
Hello, Overton. Alien and Aliens and Terminator versus T2 and First Blood versus Rambo 2. Truly different movies. Well, yeah, to say again, I think like with Terminator 2, I really enjoyed Terminator 2. It went along with the theme that they had generated in Terminator. It's several years later, but I think it really worked. And obviously, it's one of Guns N' Roses' greatest tunes with and Robert. Was it Robert Patrick who played?
Patrick. I forget his last name.
It was Robert Patrick, I think.
Yeah.
And he created a new Terminator persona as such with the new advanced stuff.
I didn't mind the one. No one talks about this one, and I like this one. It's probably some form of heresy. The one where the Terminator didn't know he was a Terminator. He thought he was human. Like, I kind of liked that one, and I was like, man, I just saw it the once, and I was like, okay, that wasn't nearly as bad as I thought.
I haven't seen the last. I think I saw Terminator 3.
Yeah, I don't think I saw
I
the
haven't seen anything else.
latest. Maybe one of the last two. I can't. No, I saw probably all but the latest one. I gotta watch the latest one at some point.
But I was like T2 was just again it was because Arnie didn't really want to. He was in line to play Kyle Reese originally.
Oh, that wouldn't have been
and
nearly as good.
I think what's his face James Cameron had, because he wasn't as fluent and well spoken in English as he is now. He opted to go for the Terminator role, and Arnie was a little bit reluctant because he didn't want to be the bad guy.
Oh yeah.
So because obviously that was quite important, he wanted to be the good guy. But again, he done Terminator, and that made him. Because he done Conan, but I think he got his major success was from Terminator.
Oh, for sure.
Right, hold on. Right, Soli, you getting Rain and Hell? I possibly, I don't know. I'm very much GW centric in my hobby. I have got a few.
Well, and there's so many games out there now.
Out there, but I do normally stick with sci-fi sort of based games. So apart from Badgers and Burrows, which that was a pure sort of like I could not resist getting a little collection, a warband of hedgehogs and dogs and cats and otters.
Tickled your fancy.
Yeah, it just tickled me, and so I went with them, and that was just a pure little side project. Same with AOS. I only have in AOS some of the I can never pronounce their name, but basically the fish elves. I have some of their characters because I just found the idea of elves walking around with fish hilarious. So it tickled me in many places, and so I got them as a little sort of sorbet project as such.
I'm going to end up. This reminds me. The Rain and Hell stuff reminds me a lot of. It's not like based on it or anything in common, but it's a skirmish game. It reminds me of like what was the old 40K like? It was like when it had war bands and you would start in hell. It was like I bring it up all the time. It was one of my favorite books.
Slaves of Darkness sort of thing.
Yeah, Slaves of Darkness. And so that artwork was always really cool to me. And the way this game is kind of set up with their version of hell it's pretty neat. It's like they just have a brief little backstory, but what happened, what I didn't expect is I did the paintovers and then kind of read the little like background story to it, and I was like, oh, I dug their version of hell, so I'd end up sketching. I was like, okay, I'd sketch these little things of hell, and then it's like, so the more I like think about it and draw it, and then I'm like, okay, I'm like, the game, it's they do it. It's pretty quick play, you know what I mean? And it's only like it's like a 60-page booklet or something, so it's not like some crazy huge rule set. So I'm like, all right, I got Beastmen right now that I bought off someone and they were already painted. So I'm like, okay, cool. I got, my war band already because it's only like 10 models. So I'm going to get, next time I see my friend, I'm going to drag him. We're going to end up playing a game. I haven't played a game of anything in so long.
And that's where it starts. You start playing games. You want to play them more.
I was like, oh, I got to get some in.
And then you'll start buying models.
Because I'll do that and then Necromunda I have to play, and then at some point I'll end up playing Titanicus because I know I would dig it from the old like battles tech I used to like and all that.
I have to say, Mortis is just full of Titan goodness. I am absolutely it was so good.
Okay, so the book you mean, right?
Yeah. Well, I listened to it on audio, but I did buy the book, but I just don't have the time to read. So I listened to it.
Mortis, though, what? No, I know the name, but I'm confused on the lore. What's with Mortis?
Right, Mortis is one of the Titan Legios. It's the main bad guys in the
Okay.
Heresy. Basically, there were the three Titan Legios that were created on Mars were Ignatum, who were the first. Then it's either Mortis and then Tempestus.
Okay.
When the Heresy kicks off, Mortis are basically wholesale in with the Fabricator of Mars and the War Master, Horus. Tempestus, about 75% of them went traitor.
Oh.
The main, like in Mechanicum, which again always gets mentioned on here, you see the towel of the Tempestus's like the leader and his sort of maniples, who'd returned to Mars because they'd been damaged in battle, so they'd gone back to Mars for refit, and then the Martian civil war kicks off while they're there, and they fight honorably and nobly during the Battle of Magma City. Ignatum basically spent most of the Heresy on Terra. They returned from wherever they were and went back en masse to defend the throne world. Some Ignatum engines went out here and there and took part in other sort of campaigns throughout the Heresy. The majority of them were all on Terra, and Mortis is now been thrown into battle. There's lots of other stuff going on within the book, so it's not just there's other little side stories. There's about 3-4 little side stories, stories altogether, but it is basically Mortis walking and attacking the walls of the inner walls of the palace, sort of thing. But yeah, he's really, really good. There's loads of nice little bits in there, some little nice Easter eggs as well, from like 40k. Sort of sets up those little bits and pieces. But remember that picture you done of my Titans, the row of Titans?
Oh yeah.
When I showed, like, I put that up on like the Ignatum group. It's now our banner.
Moving on up.
And but somebody said to me, that's basically one of the scenes. That's what happens there when you put all the thing. That's basically one of the scenes in the book.
Cool.
So it's just like line of Ignatum engines just like opening fire, and there's been lots of fire going on.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Okay, that's one that I have to get with Audible because I got some Audible credits.
Just do the Siege of Terra series. You will not regret doing that because like everybody knows how the Heresy ends, and then how it starts, and like the Heresy series like was filling all the gaps and all the decisions and stuff that went along. But the Siege of Terra is the real meat of the entire series. So I'd say you've got a rough idea of what's gone on in the past. You can start from the Solar War, which is the first one. Mortis is the 5th book. And there's 2 novellas that have been done by Graham McNeill, Sons of Selenar and Fury of Magnus. So they're all on Audible. So if you've got your Audible tokens, use them on them because they say that the whole Siege of Terra series has been really good.
Paul Fisher says, "I want to go pick this game up. It looks amazing." You know what? I'll give them. I learned a lot from watching them because I haven't played or whatever. So I'm not obviously trying to make some game right now. But they released it and they did a few what I consider really smart things. Is they you can use whatever minis kind of you want to represent your demons, and the price is like $10 for the PDF and $15 for a print copy, and you get the PDF for free. So it's like, and they've been getting a lot of good reviews on YouTube and stuff. So I was like, all right, it's pretty cool that just see them launch something and do that, and then wait. King Crimson asks, so folks, we working on any hobbies today?
Well,
What did you do on Saturday, Lee? What are you doing this Saturday? What are you working on?
well, I did a vote on Monday to say which Titan will I do next, and
Okay.
the people have spoken, and they voted for a Warbringer. So
Okay.
they had 4 choices because my last War Master that I've got, there was actually something I was going to address from Lewis, I think, mentioned earlier on, asked a question about the War Master.
Okay.
Just trying to find what you're. Yeah, so Wolflord said, "What are my thoughts on the War Master?" And he's got a Castellan to work on. Right, the War Master is one of the best kits that I've worked on. It's got so much going for it. It's a lovely sized model, and yeah, I think everybody I've seen that has posted up about their experiences about building it. It does take time, but that time disappears. And once you've built it, you've got this epically magnificent Titan standing before you. That looks absolutely badass, and you're sort of like, again, I always say, like with Warlords, you get rid of a sense of sort of achievement.
Yeah.
Plus, it's got so much maneuverability in its legs.
That's what I saw. Yeah, I saw a lot of different poses like that.
Yeah, it's got the most posable Titan out of the lot. So you've got so much you can sort of the feet can be articulated. You can like the shins, knee, and thigh. It's got movement that you can adjust, or you just go with the standard pose. But yeah, it is a really is a great kit. Seems to have frozen.
Yeah, you got to get your money's worth out of that kit. This is one where I was like, oh, what's funny is, so I worked on these, I feel okay, and then I go to start the stream, and I'm like, oh gosh, what am I going to do with these? And like, I just, in my mind, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll do some of this and a cool flash at the background, and then it's, I start working on like, oh wait, how do I handle this problem, and where's the light coming from, and
yeah, sorry, it was, my screen froze up.
Oh, no worries.
Crimson Magnus did nothing wrong. What? If you listen to Fury of Magnus, oh my god, yes. No spoilers here, but oh my god. And yeah, Lee, I should have this AE person on my stream for a spell. So yeah, I've got to sort out how to do like what.
It's a pain. I mean, from what you know who did theirs? Lonely Havocs and who's Andrew?
Hobby Vices.
Yeah, Hobby Vices. So they did their stream, and their first one was a total wreck because of the connection. But then they sorted it, and it was working really cool. They did this neat thing where it was like they were whatchamacallit, set like a hour timer, and they both paint a mini, you know what I mean, kind of like a mini painting race for the hour. So it was like, that was a cool thing. But they set it up with like, I forget what they used. They might have used Streamlabs and got it working. I didn't have any luck using Streamlabs, but obviously use it, so it just has to be, probably whatever was going on with my like computer or setup or whatever. But I know they have used that. What I'm using now, I use Switcher Studio, but it's Apple, it's pay, and it only works on the Apple. I can obviously invite someone who's not on Apple, but for the main setup, it relies on Apple, so that's kind of holds it back a little.
Yeah, because I'm actually my Sam's Apple has gone to the shop. So I'm currently on a PC.
Yeah.
So probably because I'm looking at the PC, and at the moment I look like the guy from Jacob's Ladder whose head is vibrating really fast. So that's what I'm seeing on my PC screen here.
You're fine looking straight to me. I think there might be.
It might just be in my end then.
Yeah, like you're streaming to me, but I'm probably watching not on YouTube. I'd have to look on YouTube and hopefully.
Well, I seem to be fine on YouTube.
Okay, so we're doing good.
I've got my so I can read the chat. I have my phone on.
Okay.
And I'm looking great on the phone. Question: could you use big Adeptus mech Titans as Imperial Knight standard regular full? Overton, you could, but the scaling is off because when you're looking at, you've got a miniaturized Titan, so all the details are a lot smaller. So yeah, I'm a bit of a purist in that respect. I'm sure somebody will do, but then
if you're like in a pinch or just want to try it out or something, maybe
But that's the thing. Is the War Master is about the size of an Imperial Knight, whereas the other ones are smaller. Like the Warlord's not quite as big as a Imperial Knight in height, but then the Imperial Knight is bulkier and obviously scaled to the scale it's in. AT scale doesn't really translate that well. You could probably use parts from a knight if you're doing kit bashing. Because I was actually thinking about that earlier on with some maybe their heads or something, and doing a switcheroo on something. On like a War Master, for example, using a head from a Morax knight, which is an Armiga variant that Forge World did, because you get two different heads in the kit. So I've got it somewhere. I've got to find it.
I'm gonna get one of those knights one day. Those are still some of my favorites. Just to have one, I'm like, okay, this is the dumbest idea. The other thing is, one of these days, it's gonna be, I think, on the weekend. I want to start like a weekend type stream, which I always wanted to do on a better time. It's just I guess I'm a wimp when it starts getting late, and I'm like, I don't want to stream late. Well, it's not that I don't want to stream. I don't know if I'm going to have the energy. You know what I mean? And so, but what I'm thinking anyway is I might do just like a variety of stuff. I'm like, all right, I haven't put together a mini in forever. And King Crimson was like, well, why don't you do it like on stream? So I was like, well, maybe I would, put together the first mini and then paint it. I'd be cracking up trying to paint one. So I'm like, maybe I should paint one. I'll be like, I'll put it together one time, I think, and then, prime it and then like paint it on another stream just to see. Hey, 15 folks. Thanks for making it. Appreciate you hitting the like button if you're enjoying. Let's see, actually, quite a few of you have. Thank you very much. And thanks for making it.
We are young, the empire is growing, so any helpful hints are appreciated.
Always. Always. What is this?
It's pretty easy to have guests on through Restream or Discord, apparently, from Axe and Axe. Yeah, as I say, it's because I don't have... I may be from Mars, but I ain't got a clue how to set things up, really.
Yeah.
I turn things on, I tweak them, and yes. But it's just getting everything in place so you could actually I could have like on YouTube like this, and then I could like obviously invite Scott on a Saturday if he wanted to come in for a chat, or other people if they wanted to have a chat and stuff, because I'm normally on for about 4 hours on a Saturday night.
I know. How do you do it? Crazy. Well, kudos to you.
Everyone joins in like here, sort of thing,
Well, I just mean for your voice, even. Like, that's the thing that would get me. I like when we're both here, it's like go back and forth, and then it's like, okay, stop, take a sip of something. You know what I mean? It's like 4 hours. It's like, wow.
Yeah, no, he does tire me out somewhat.
Yeah.
I do get a little tired, little boy. But yeah, he's you know, I'm sure it would be something that can be easily rectified. I could, yeah. I'll definitely go and look into it. At the moment, as I say, because the apple's in the shop.
Yeah.
Like this weekend, I might not be able to do. Well, I'm not going to be able to do like the 2-camera view
no,
because
yeah.
this computer doesn't have an internal
Yeah.
camera. So I'm using the one that I normally have facing down, so you can see what I'm painting. So you can see me now. But yes,
The joys of the digital age.
apparently, Restream is pretty close to dummy proof. I
Maybe
need that.
I need
Thank
that.
you, Alex.
Maybe King Crimson said no sparkles. 0
disappointment.
The sparkles are coming. I don't even know if I've ever done a paint over without them, to be honest.
So you say like Mr. Sparkles because I was Simpson.
Mr. Sparkles.
Oh, Mr. Sparkles! The washing powder. It looks like Homer.
It makes the grim dark beautiful. It's like, oh, look at all the sparks from the burning people.
Oh, that sparks from all the burning people. That just had flashbacks of Mortis all over it. So many sparkles. So
many sparkles. They're like, what's all those beautiful sparkles, people?
Yes, no, so it's what's that? Some AdMech you agree?
So wait, before I forget, does anyone know how does this? I haven't even played any of these versions lately, right? So 8th, 9th, it doesn't even I know a little bit about the basics, but in general, how do one of these turrets perform in battle? Like, it's got to be, they can't really move, and I'm sure it's not as what, a heavy weapons team almost or something. I don't know how they perform.
I think it can move, can't it? I think it does have a movement profile.
Huh.
But, auto cannons are just
it's not a tarantula now. This isn't like a remake of a tarantula, is it?
Well, it kind of is. It's like a re-imaging of a tarantula.
Good to know.
So, yes. Because if you remember the old Space Crusade, you used to get tarantulas in there, like lascannon tarantulas.
Yeah, okay.
Which I actually had 3 of them. I found 3 of them in one of my old hobby boxes from when I was young, and I painted them up as and I used them in heresy games as tarantulas because you still have tarantulas.
Wait, Overton, are you talking to Lee? It says, watching on YouTube, where would I find your paint stream? Twitch, I guess, but any leaks? No, Lee, you're on YouTube too, right?
Well. Yeah. So obviously you know me on Twitter as the Forge of Mars. I'm on YouTube as the Forge of Mars. So if you just search for that, you'll find me with my little how-to videos and lots of stream videos of it's more of it's a hobby hangout more.
Yeah.
I started off with building War Masters, which obviously I've still got one more to do. But it's generally Saturday from 8 p.m. British Summertime BST, which would be in America.
What, 5 hours? It would be 1 hour after this, so 3. It would start at 3 p.m.
3 Eastern Standard. But yeah, so we normally have a nice a regular crew, and Scott pops in every now and again, says hello, which is always nice.
I get to see some of the building, and when in Adeptus Titanicus, so let's say we're at a point where a warhound is going to attack, say, another warhound. So we're there, and what do you do? Is it movement, and then do you move and then fire kind of deal?
Yeah, so you've got several phases that breaks up the game of Adeptus Titanicus. So basically, you have the strategy and command phase. So you get when you create your army or whatever size game you're playing, you get a set amount of stratagem points.
Okay.
So you can use them as little in-game buffs and stuff. So, if you were doing a big game, you might get 4 stratagem points. So you could do some, little bonuses to your forces. You could call in like an airstrike. You could spend 2 points to get a macro cannon on your side, like so a little extra weaponry, or a shield generator type thing, which gives you shield re-rolls if you're within a certain distance. So you do stratagems first, then you go into command, which you roll a d10 for your command, and as long as you beat your command score, you can issue your Titan an order. So you do it individually, and you take turns, basically. You don't have to do commands. You can forego having commands. But if you do, you roll your d10, beat your score, and then you've got a choice of full stride, which basically allows you to sort of move further. You forego shooting, basically. Emergency repairs. So if you're really buggered, you can get an instant hit or a chance of healing some, getting your shield
some damage.
You can repair criticals, you can repair weapons that have been disabled, but you can't actually repair structure.
I got you, like missing points.
And obviously lower your reactor. So after when you do your commands, so you've got first fire as well, which allows you to fire 1 weapon instead of movement. So you can't move, so you can only just shoot 1 weapon of your choice. Or you get split fire, which allows you to move, but you can't turn.
Okay, no pivoting. Gotcha.
You can fire your weapons at multiple targets. So you could fire my left arm gun at that dude over there, and then my right arm gun at that dude over there. So, because normally you can only fire at 1 target, sort of thing. So after the movement phase, or you forego order and you just do a movement and do what you want to do with that. From there, then it's the repair phase. So you can repair, and then it's combat. So you do your shooting, or if you're in close combat, you do your smacking down. And then it's the end phase where you basically add any effects and check your. If you've taken critical hits, for example, they can have an effect on your Titan, so you could get even more damaged.
Whatever stuff comes up.
So it's fairly straightforward. There's a YouTube channel, Tabletop Standard, and
I heard of them.
Chris and Steve, I think, but it's Chris who does most of the videos. He done a tutorial selection of videos. It's about 9 videos, and he goes through each of the main points, sort of thing. And I actually watched it when he released it a couple of months back, and it helped me sort of realize, so that's how it actually works. And it's really well done, and it's sort of again, like idiot proof.
Ovitson said that this is apparently extremely bad. 3-inch move and no durability, but love the model, so use it for the shelf filler. Yeah, that's how it is with some of these. I love the model too, and it's like, even though it probably would not make sense, I get it. I used to remember, what was it for 2nd edition, where in the White Dwarf they released like the bunker, and it was like 50 points, and it even had a card bunker where you could fold it up and then play with it. I always because I love the scenery in the game. Like, scenery makes the world to me, and then like when it was like a bunker, it's like, oh, I can have a bunker, how cool, even though it's probably like the most useless thing ever.
They brought out a lot more bunkers over the course of the years, sort of thing, like bastions, which are like sort of little castle keep things.
Is that the new one? Do they have bastions out now? I think I've seen them in all.
Bastions came out about 7-8 years ago, I think. Well, actually, no, longer than that. About 12, 13 years ago, Bastions came out. So the little scenery kits of fortifications, because they did make in one of the earlier editions, I think like 5th or 6th, they started making these plastic scenery for like battlefield assets and stuff like that, and actually brought out lots of different sort of like game like city fight. So a lot of this stuff came out like Aegis defense line stuff, and they brought out
so I remember some of that. I wasn't playing them, but I do remember that stuff coming out. Just probably seeing it at the hobby store or wherever I was.
Yeah, I've got one Bastion that I bought way back when. I'm now actually thinking about using it for Adeptus Titanicus, because in the book Titan Death, which I was re-listening to before I started Mortis, they on the Titan fleets, basically you have these huge ships called Titan conveyors, and they can carry like dozens of Titans, and they have Titan drop pods, so like they can carry a whole maniple down in one foul swoop sort of thing. And they have knights, Imperial Knights, that are attached to the Titan Legio. They patrol the battlements across the top of the ship. So during this scene where Legio Solaria are heading towards this planet called Fatagarmon, as they arrived in system to take part in the Titan Death, the Knights of Procon Vi basically mount up, go running out onto the battlements on the external part of the ship, and are there doing like gunning down incoming.
Yeah, that's cool.
But they also have a centralized, what they call drop keep. So it's like a drop pod defensive position.
Yeah.
So all the knights go inside, the drop keep drops.
Yeah,
and we've got a ready-made base of defense, and that they can come out and rearm and stuff. So I just thought, I might use a Bastion for one of them. Yeah. It would be big enough to house like a few knights into theoretically. What we got here? Hobby hang and bang. Thank you, Crimson. Hanging out, banging stuff together. Hold on. This is getting crude. This is before the watershed. Hit it with a hammer, it didn't work. Use a bigger hammer. Yeah, well, that is the theory. That is legitimate. Mechanical. Dogma. Basically, hit things with a hammer, make them work. Wolf Lord Lewis. I want to get some Firestrike turrets for either a diorama or when my chapter or when I do my chapter as a full thing to stick in their line holder companies. Yeah, they are cool looking models, but most of my armies that I like, well, my 40k armies are fairly mobile ones. So like I've got Emperor's Spears, who are an assault type army. Black Templars, who are an assault type army, and my Raptors, who aren't necessarily an assault type army, but they're an infiltration type army.
Almost close.
So it's it is a nice model, but I don't see it falling into my ranks of my my armies that I have for 40k. So yes, I was just wondering, is his arms actually stuck in the boxes, or is he actually plugged in?
Yeah, that's what I didn't know that. Yeah, it's like his arms are cut off. He has like a mechanical arm on the right side. It looks like because the joint, it looks like a spinning joint, so it's not big enough for the wrist or whatever. So he probably lost an arm or whatever.
But it's almost making him like a dreadnought type, like a semi-dreadnought.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I know he's plugged in by that arm.
And that's the thing with Tech Marines as well. It's like the amount of Tech Marines, you're meant to have Tech Marines driving all the vehicles. So So, you know, when you have a chapter of 1,000 Marines, that doesn't include any tech Marines that are driving vehicles or other stuff.
When I used to play second edition, I used to get so mad. We'd make little homebrew rules because they had a Rhino, and the Rhino came with a driver. But if you ever blew up the Rhino or knocked the Rhino out or whatever, the driver never got out. We were like, dude, we paid points for a Marine driver, and you never see that Marine in game. So we had like this thing where if it was like whatever degree of damage you could roll, and then the Marine could get out and stay within 2 inches of the Rhino and like pop shots off and stuff. Because like that Marine, he could live sometime.
Yeah, they actually, once upon a time, well, one of the early editions, I think like probably around about 5th, I think, or 6th. You could blow up a vehicle, and obviously, if it was containing troops, then you roll to see who survived, basically from the explosion. Especially if you like got a big explosion. So you could have like and then any survivors would deploy outside of the tank within a certain distance. Ooh. Wolves wouldn't use turrets. No glory in it. These are successors for Wolves that do make use of turrets, and they would be for defences. Like White Scar Dreadnought. Yeah, the White Scars don't really eschew having Dreadnoughts, do they? Well, in the Heresy, they didn't really. It wasn't sort of part of their sort of culture. They didn't like the idea of putting somebody who was near death into a box and then let them, even in death, i.e., serve, as they would mean. King Crimson, I'm a Ultramarine successor, and we only use heavy infantry. Fist it didn't work. Fist it harder.
Inspector Gadget of 40K. So he did say, I don't know if we've seen this one. One arm is plugged in, the other is a normal arm. You got it.
It seems a bit much, to have to basically remove a Tech Marine's arm.
Well, maybe it was a Tech Marine who got chopped up, and it's a special.
Yeah, but then if you're deploying 3 of them, that's 3 Tech Marines that you've mutilated.
I'm sure they have a version with whatever 2 right arms, 2 left arms.
Yeah. Slight moves, moved turret. Might be like that. That's still a thing unless the Vic blows up when you destroy it. Roll a 6 for each model inside. On a 1, it died. Yeah, it was actually easier to kill in previous editions. So, like, rolling a 1, if you've got a squad of 10 in there, you might get a couple of 1s. Yeah, but thematically, if you're on the inside of a tank that just got obliterated, you would expect a higher percentage of fatality.
Yeah,
but it is what it is. Rules are the rules.
Space Marine armor.
How can you get 10 Marines into that Rhino?
That's what they train so hard for.
Yeah, to be good at Tetris and
like, how do we stack in here? Everyone's like laying on top of each other. It's like college. They need that as a cartoon. Like when the college kids used to like see how many people they could jam in a car, like a Volkswagen. They'll be like, how many Space Marines can we jam in a Rhino?
There was that's so the thing with the whole scowl thing where you're just like looking at it and just going, but how could they get in there? That's why you never saw that Space Marine driver. He just simply couldn't get out.
Yeah, it's like for sure. It's close. It's between Titans and a Rhino, probably for my favorite 40K model. Like the Rhino was just so, I don't know what to me. Maybe it's like the design is a little throwback to actual tanks, but a Titan is like objectively cooler because it has more stuff or whatever. But it's just for me, like something about that squad and its little Rhino,
So that's an interesting about the Rhino, because there's 2 versions of Rhinos. So in the Heresy, you had the Demos pattern Rhino, And then in the latter stage of the heresy, you got the Phobos version.
Okay.
Because basically, Deimos and Phobos are the moons of Mars. Deimos got moved. They're both forges on Phobos and Deimos, and obviously, and Mars has all the forges, and then you had the belt of iron around Mars. But during the heresy, the latter part of it, they moved Deimos out of orbit of Mars, and they stuck it around Titan. Because Titan was going to become the home of the Grey Knights, and they needed a forge, and they basically got a forge. So that's why you see like earlier marks of armor and vehicles are Deimos pattern, and then there's a switch to Phobos pattern.
Oh, so you learned something. I didn't know. Yeah, where are the Grey Knights based out of then? They're on the moon?
Okay. Moon, Saturn, Titan.
All right.
Which nobody knows about. Apart from Space Wolves. There's a because obviously the Grey Knights are meant to be like super secret.
Yeah.
Not meant to be known, sort of thing, until there was a book called Emperor's Gift by Aaron W. Bowden, and a Space Wolf strike cruiser appears in close proximity to Titan, requesting their aid, and like people on Titan going, "How do you know about us?"
Oh.
And apparently Logan Grimnar said, "Go here, find these people, bring them back."
Oh, interesting. There, that was. Oh, wait. Let me put a little lens flare. Let me get Michael Bay on it. Let me get all Michael Bay on this.
It's J.J. Abrams, isn't it? Old lens flare.
J.J. Wait, no, Michael. Wait, no. Who did like the Star Trek with the lens flares?
J.J. Abrams.
But then
Michael Bay does the Transformer movies.
Yeah, but okay, so he didn't do as many. I mean, I'm sure he used it, but yeah, Michael Bay, so he used it more. What did? Yeah, so
J.J. also brought lens flare to Star Wars.
Yeah, because he did the lens flare on all that stuff. So we're getting all J.J. Abrams up in.
That was actually I actually read a meme earlier on, which was going back to the new Star Trek movies that he done, where he had the Romulan that Eric Banner plays, which I can't remember the name at the moment, but it's basically like 3 memes like, okay, we'll go back 145 years into the past, and then we'll hang around for 25 years to get our vengeance on Spock, sort of thing, instead of going back to Romulus and warning them that in 145 years it's going to get blown up. It's like a little bit of a yeah. But revenge has that power over people. Nero, that was his character's name.
Nero.
When he meets up with Christopher Pike. Hi, Christopher.
Oh, yeah. I like some of those. I like those.
Oh, I like them. I like the flip around with Into Darkness with Khan.
Yeah. I thought I didn't see maybe I didn't see the newest Star Trek. No, I didn't see one of the series. I think I've seen all the movies. But there's a couple things I didn't see of the. That's way too bright. But
I tried watching Voyager, and I struggled to get into. I think I managed to watch the first season, but I just couldn't.
Just not feeling it.
Yeah, I like to blame Neelix, but I just couldn't get into it. Especially because Deep Space Nine was so awesome. So that really sort of. I know Voyager got probably a little bit better later on when they'd done the whole Borg thing.
Yeah.
I never got back into it. But Deep Space Nine was one of my favourite Star Treks. Although I must admit, I do like Discovery. I know not a lot of people like it, but it is a bit different. I like the crew of the Discovery, and the crew are a little bit more rounded compared to other crews that have appeared in previous series. But yeah, what have we got here? Was about to say, in the months of shame, Bjorn shouts at the Grey Knights to make them reveal their nature to the chapter as a whole. Question for me. I'm painting Mechanicus scenery for a friendly local game store, Kill Team Board. I want to go green or blue, but don't know any Forge Worlds that aren't using red. Now, I think because you have like Metallica uses white, so you could just go for a real lesser known Forge World. Like if you was for like, I don't know with your friendly local game store if they sort of go for a more of a fluffy thing for their whole 40k campaign, because what I generally do, like when I've run like campaign sort of events and ongoing campaigns, like every now and again where me and my buddies will turn up, we have a continuous thing. Like we fight in one system. There's plenty of planets within the system, so if somebody wanted to fight on a board that was like grassy, you go, oh well, that's on the Agri world. Or if it was an urban one, you go, oh well, that's on that sort of like Hive world. Or if it was a Mechanicus board, then you go, that's on the Forge world or Forge Moon type thing. So you can sort of spread out the different sort of gaming boards you may have, and then when you're running sort of games, especially if it's all connected to each other, so like the games have meaning within the campaign, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So you can keep an ongoing like narrative, and obviously the events of one game will have an effect on the story of the campaign. So after like all the battles have been fought, for example, I would write up the story of the events of what happened during this part of the campaign, sort of thing. And obviously everyone gets like a little mention, so everyone goes ooh when they read about themselves and stuff. But it adds to the overall narrative, and obviously depending on who wins and who loses will then swing the pendulum to how the system is faring, basically. But yeah, I would go with like either a lesser known forge or just basically just create one, because there's loads of little, you know, smallish forge moons where a Arc Mechanicus might have turned up at one stage during the heresy or pre-heresy and set up a small area, and it's just basically like got a couple of forge sort of cities. It's not quite a forge world, or you just go, it's a small area like a solo forge moon, and they had their own identities anyway, and then you just go with your own schemes for it. But that's what I would do.
That's what's cool too about the 40k world is big enough to kind of do what you want to do.
There was actually another meme I saw, which was 40k, which was saying about it was like a sciencey one where they said like the Imperium of Man has 1 million worlds. Well, that works out to like 0.001% of the galaxy, so it's not much.
Yeah.
Yeah, or the habitable worlds or whatever. So the newest Star Trek is Lower Decks, which is pretty. Yeah, I've still got to see Lower Decks. I know of it. I have lots of friends who have watched it.
I saw one of it and I liked it. I think I don't know. I don't have the service or whatever that has Lower Decks on it. I think that's the case.
I might on Netflix, I think.
No, well, it may be different over in Europe to here. I think it's on like, I saw a preview maybe on Hulu or something, but it's like some like Paramount Network type deal, and I didn't like pay for that one, so I don't.
It was actually over here a couple of years ago now. They were saying about doing a Paramount theme park over here, just outside London. So obviously having like Star Trek orientated, because obviously you've got Galaxy's Edge over in Disney.
Yeah.
So doing like a CBS Paramount thing. So obviously with Star Trek being the main part for them. Wolflord list. All the AdMech forges use red to represent their connection to Mars, but there are quite a few in the Flesh and Steel books that AdMech wear grey and blue with red trim. Well, I say like Metallica are white, Ryza are orange, and don't have any red on them. So it varies mostly. I'll be honest with you, I'd have to check my because obviously you got the new Mechanicus book coming out as well, haven't you? So there's probably been new stuff added to that. But it's not primarily like obviously Mars is red, but there are other planets where they have different colorations for them. So as I said, Metallica is the big one because they're white robes and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. There was one in the latest. Oh, yeah. I was about to say there was one in the issue 464, I think, of White Dwarf. They covered one that was pretty cool. I can't remember the name offhand, but I was going to say to people online, if you like my work, pick up issue 465 of White Dwarf. So I think it goes on order around the 12th, I think they said, and then probably comes out. I don't know if it comes out this month. There might be a small delay where it doesn't. Yeah, but I think there was like some delay, or it might have just been for U.S. deliveries. But make sure you get that issue. So,
yeah, so I don't know if you'll be able to. No, you're probably not going to say
that. Oh, wait, we can zoom. I can get fancy. Hang on. As I probably crashed the whole system. You're going solo, Lee. Boom. Oh, yeah.
Yes. So you've got, obviously, apart from the little red bit on the bottom there, on its cloak, it's basically grey, silver, and white with, I think it's like orange.
I saw some people did Mechanicus, and they did like a teal coat, and I love like the teal look of coat on them. I'm gonna go do something with the puppy real quick, take him out, and then I'll be back in a flash.
Yours. Should get back into position. Overton, good point. Thanks. It's mainly for standalone games, but I'll be given free reins, but just wanted to try something new. But thanks for the reply. Gave me something to work with. And thanks, Wolflord. Miss your reply. Yeah, say it's always. Yeah, as I said, they had on that picture there. The Metallica had a little bit of red on like the like it would be like a decal. If you were using it on the base of the robes, but their main colours are white, then grey trousers with a fetching metal leg and chest piece. But yeah, I was just trying to get through looking at some of the things. Actually, if I stop looking at myself on there, so let's have a look. Which one's Hikari? So images. Where's my images? There you go. So obviously the big red ones are normally Mars. Then you got some homebrew ones showing up. Because the only other sort of Forge World I sort of know of is Bologna, who is the Forge World that supports the Emperor's Spears, and they are sort of black in coloration. I think, but they do have red on them as well. But say not all Forge Worlds, because they should do, because obviously it's like homage to Mars, but it might only be like a token part on there. But yeah, I can't actually see any decent pictures of official artwork.
Oh, I should. I'll unmute myself.
Loads of DeviantArt and stuff. But yeah, so yeah, the Metallica have a token red scroll like bit along the bottom of their thing, but I'm not sure Ryza do. But they might. Who knows? I'll let's say I haven't got a Skitari Codex in front of me, so I can't actually say for sure.
Are you gaming tonight, there, Mr. Lee?
I am, yes. First time for a couple of weeks.
Okay, good. Get some game time in.
Hey, Doom Talk time, apparently.
You know what? I haven't seen it pop up anywhere lately. Like sometimes there'll be advertisements on my Twitter or whatever. You know, I don't see a lot of advertising anyway, but like sometimes I would see it there or get talked about. I haven't seen anything in a while.
Yeah. No, so it was the last thing I saw was what I was telling you about the other week with the special release of the original June movie, Lynch this June, which didn't seem, it's all well and good getting limited edition steel box DVDs and stuff like that, but it doesn't seem to be anything new.
I mean, I guess, yeah, they're like, because of that whole pandemic, I think it messed a lot of movie stuff up.
But as I said, Spice Diver on YouTube, we've hit the fan Edic Redux of is actually really good, because I was surprised when I was watching it. I told you before where I imagined, because I've seen like some sort of like the outtakes that didn't make it into the movie, and they've reintegrated them into the actual film.
Oh, okay.
But it was HD quality. There was no sort of change of the quality of the actual.
I know what you mean.
Film. So it was like, wow, this is really impressive, and it actually made more sense with these bits that they added in there. So definitely Spice Diver on YouTube.
Okay, I know I still gotta watch
the whole film on there. Hobbiton Ryza could be an alternative as their orange. I think I'll just use Caliban green and use the red for spot colours. Yeah, I would say red and green goes quite well together, actually. So you could definitely do that, Hobbiton. And as I say, just create a Forge World, because then if you're going to go with the more fluffy route for campaigns, it gives you a little. Like the guys that used to participate in the campaigns when I run actually quite enjoyed, having this little sandbox to play in, because some of them would go, oh, well, I'm going to go to this planet and this is where my forces are going to be based. And, when you had...
Take over.
Yeah, well, it's sort of like, it was an Imperial-held system. So it was prior, like the campaign started prior to the Great Rift turning up. Cicatrix Maledictum, before that turned up.
A side note, I hate to interrupt, but I'm doing it because I'll forget. I think Loki just came out.
Yeah, apparently. So that might be something to be. Apparently, it's quite good.
Okay, I haven't heard really anything. I just remember seeing that it came out. I'm like, oh gosh, maybe I'll watch that tonight. Yeah, try to watch Loki before the next show. Think you'll be able to?
Oh, I will be.
All right, we'll talk about it then. All right, good. We'll have our 17 shows. We'll have our first little segment or whatever. So we'll have our first thing of planning. We'll both watch that. Perfect. You
just saw the first watch as well, because we don't want to be doing spoilers.
Yeah.
Wolflord, I would say go with one Space Wolves aligned, as they would be blue, but Space Wolves produce their own stuff. So, yeah, I would say the 40k universe is vast, even though it is being eaten by Tyrians from all sides. So you could just say you put Forge anywhere, really. You have the big guys, but then there are always, because the Forge Worlds originally used to send out little fleets to go and colonize and make forges in other systems. So they've seeded areas.
Yeah,
so
some of them would have got cut off and whatever.
Yeah. So that's why there was like all these little forge worlds everywhere. And some of them had titans, others had knights, and you know they just kept on going as best they could in the old night. We don't need news. We just got to talk Dune.
Oh wait, I'm gonna try to do a little more. I'm gonna end up going and touching all these up because we'll be running probably late. But I'm gonna end up touching all these up. I just wanted to get the majority of them done, and then there's a couple things to do on them.
Your little furnace stomach.
I know. I love this one. I'll take it with this layer off. So yeah, just that was just so cool to me. The furnace stomach, and I liked how the blade flame just was really cool to me. Like that's just I'm like, okay, that's like a good glow to play with. And they had the little bit on the ground. I was like, oh, that's brilliant too. So it was like just really well like thought out with the light. That it's even on the hammer, tip there. So I was like, all right, I want to try to play with that. Try to bring it out even more. And a furnace. I don't know what this like. I have to look. I think he made kind of his own army and that kind of stuff, and I want to look into it. It's just interesting to me.
Like with where it's gone there, I would immediately I thought it would be some sort of like dwarven type thing.
Because that's what I think it is.
Furnaces and hammers as well as spears. Just, it seems like that sort of thing that they would have for some reason.
It seems appropriately dwarvy.
Oh, the glow. Oh, it's looking quite warm. I'm getting a bit hot.
Yeah, I get to glow tool shamelessly. I don't know how long ago I haven't done digital. Okay, in the span of time, I started digital way late. Oh gosh, story of my life. And so I didn't do digital till way late. And I just remember one of the first tools I got like on it was like, and it was like Corel Painter when I bought it. And I was like, oh, I used the glow tool, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like it was just like, whoo, and you just have this. And I liked comic books and that kind of stuff, so it was this like totally popping glow, And then when you're first doing it, like I was a decent artist even when I started, but like I couldn't really. You don't have the discipline of when and how to use it properly. It takes a while to like use that stuff so you know what's up. So it was just like inappropriate at first and everything, and now I just love it because it's always that.
You basically went full JJ, didn't you?
What was that?
You went full JJ with the glow.
Yeah, I did totally. That's exactly what it was. Like David Lensford's like, yeah, this guy just uses the glow tool.
Oh, apparently Crimson saying the screen is all me. It's not on my screen, but
oh yeah, probably when I switched over. Remember, they're probably dealing with a minute lag. Oh, I said, Overton says, "What a beautiful model." Yeah, this really is. It's just like, and it's kind of like straight on. So I usually say, hey, I guess it's a minute angle, but because of how the hammer is forward and his right arm is back and the lighting, that kind of, all those elements kind of like negate the straight on. So it makes it a nice like composition, even though it's kind of just like a straight on model. It wouldn't look as good if this was turned more or anything. It looks good like this with the way it's lit. It's brilliant.
Yeah, so you just really just stand out. You can just imagine it like waddling out of a cave.
Yeah,
or something
yeah. It just has that feel like he's been working on it, and I'm like, man.
It's like they're coming out like a train.
Yeah. Something.
I'm coming to hammer things and then spear them.
I mean, it's got to be like a forge. I don't know what it has to be, actually. I wonder what it would be. It could be a few things, because obviously prepared to fight, but it also looks kind of like forgy, so whatever.
Well, dwarves are always sort of a bit like engineering, forgy anyway. So obviously coming out and just battering things with weapons is what they like to do. It's the only way that dwarves know how to go about things, really.
And we're on for next Wednesday?
Always.
All right. Good deal.
As just seeing the messages coming through from the guys that are mustering. So I'll be on in about 15 minutes. They can carry on without me because my character is just going around setting fire to things again. So
I mean, you could. That's funny.
I started doing this thing where my character is after every sort of engagement with some sort of like supernatural entity or whatever we're fighting. Yeah. After we've won the battle and claimed victory, I burn the building down.
Yeah.
And people are just like, oh, he's just going to burn things down. And it's only when I only do it after we've fought. And with my evolutionary backstory for my character, the reasons why I do this is in offering to Ra, the sun god, because of purifying flame.
Yeah.
Also to sort of honor Anubis as well, because the deaths and stuff. But it's basically to burn the bodies and stuff into make sure that there's nowhere for wandering spirits, basically. Because if there's no building for them to haunt, they can't really haunt it, if you know what I mean. Because it's always you don't see ghosts in a field generally. Not there could be ghosts in fields. You're just not in a field to see them. But that's the whole sort of the background that I came up from my particular character was that there's a reason why I'm setting fire to things, and it's to honor like the sun god through purifying flame, and to basically make sure that the dead don't walk. Stuff. Well, that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
That's why my character burns stuff.
Yeah. Not that the rest of the party know that. The games master knows that, but the rest of the party don't know that. But they know that I like to set fire to things. Not that I like it. I just do it because I have to.
Yeah.
So they don't have to.
I don't do it because I want to. I do it because I have to.
Yeah. Also, it destroys any evidence of
Oh yeah.
That sort of thing. So
I don't know. Most of my characters in role playing always ended up getting psychopathic, but I don't know what that says. Like, you do not want to come across one of my role playing characters in the role playing world because you might not make the best decisions.
Yeah, there's always sometimes in games where you just go, "I know I'm going to do this," and people go, "Do you really want to do that?" And you go, "Yeah, it seems like fun." It's how my character. It's how I'm playing my character. It's what he would do in this situation. Well, Paul Fisher is in love with his model.
Yeah.
It's a TTRPG monster or something. Thank you for this. This is my project for Is My Baby. It looks amazing. It's an ogre tyrant, just steamified.
Oh.
I run him in Soulbound for sure.
Oh, okay, even better.
And Oviton approves of my my tactics of burning everything down.
I did. Paul, do you mean Soulbound as in the RPG that came out? I think because I bought the Soulbound book, and I'm just curious if you mean that one because I bought that and I love the was it Caradron the whatever the repairman guy is. So like he floats around and like repairs the ship or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's such a cool character. And I just love they have a bunch of gear. You know what I mean? It's a little bit like steampunky, and it made me think of that. So I was wondering if you were talking about that Soulbound book. I gotta go read some more of that. I like that.
Yeah, I've got lots of friends that are all like Soulbound and say like.
Okay, so some of your friends do play that.
Yeah, so it's the ones that don't live close.
Yeah.
So obviously internet great for making.
Yeah, but still, it's just
but a few of them like are into like Soulbound and like the other sort of Warhammer sort of RPG type stuff.
Okay, interesting.
But see, around where I am, it's a little bit hard to say because I am Titan Central.
Yeah, because a lot of it is geographically speaking, what's going on in your area and group, and all that.
We are actually the Titan Owners Club are doing another one of their walks in August, August the 21st, 22nd, which is it's not sort of like open to the public as such. It's because it's in a hotel. So we're doing that. I'm not 100% sure if I will actually be in attendance there, but at the moment, there's a lot of people that are going, and there's a lot of Titans.
Yeah.
So there will be an influx of photos.
I was going to say, get some good photos for sure.
Yeah, well, so I'll be nabbing them off of the group anyway. So, actually, funnily enough, one of the photographs that I took at the last event that we did, my friend David, whose Titan it was, has actually had it printed out and he's got it on his wall.
Oh, nice.
Which was really awesome.
I've seen some of your nature. You take some, what's up because you pose your stuff well. I see some of your nature pics, so you got a good eye for that kind of thing too.
I do all right. Just trying to find a picture of it. Yeah, so.
Oh, wait, we'll give you screen time. You've earned it. We're switching to you solo. Okay.
So his Titan, which is Hell's Daughter.
Nice one.
It actually has LEDs because you can just see the two little lights underneath the head.
Okay.
So it's actually got lights on it. So he puts the LEDs in there. So I'll just look a bit closer.
Oh yeah, that's a nice photo. I can see it there.
Because we can see in the lower photograph, they're actually standing on the gaming mat that we have. So we've got a gaming mat which is 52 feet by 16 feet.
Oh my God.
For these things, and loads of scenery that we can put out for it. But the he also has a 5 meter long background, like clouds and distant mountains that can roll out. Cool. So when we take those photographs like that, it looks more authentic and stuff. But he posted up in our admin chat the other day and just basically just said like, I was so great. That picture was such awesome picture that he actually got it printed up and it's in his gaming room. So yes, it's all good. Oh, that's interesting. So looking at Twitter notifications, there was Graham Lyons, who is White Dwarf guy, friend, works with Lyle. Lyle.
Yeah.
And he posted up on Twitter earlier on about people with armies and stuff. If you want to sort of DM him, if you've got some really nicely painted armies and whatever. And obviously people were posting up pictures of their stuff. Yeah. And I posted up saying that once I finished my 100th Titan, I was planning on going up to Warhammer World with all my Titans and Knights and, go and take some photographs. And I'm just getting quite a few notifications of people that are liking it, and Lyle was one of them.
Yeah, that's an accomplishment for sure.
Yeah. So that's been my plan for the last sort of 6 months or so, that I would get to this total and then just head on up there, empty all the boxes out onto the table and just arrange them for photographs and stuff. So that's not going to be too far away, really. once I've got to build and paint those last few Titans. So plan to
Yeah, you're not too far off.
5 to go.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm doing one a week at the moment. Although saying that, I've got 2 Warhounds, which will only take me, not long at all, really. So I'll get from now until this time next week. I should have done probably 3 Titans, so I'll be on 98. Then
Wait, Paul, it says you're building the train engines currently. I think I saw those. Yeah, because I commented on that. That's really cool that you're building out like this whole kind of theme for it. So I think I followed you. If I didn't follow you, tweet me or something just so I know to follow you.
I'm loving the smoke coming off the ground there.
Yeah, I'm trying. Like it's there, and I want to have some sparkles coming up from the ground.
Oh, he got it in there, people. He brought out the sparkles.
We're getting sparkles in there.
Yeah. You see him dripping sparkles.
They do. I love the plasma guns on the Titans. I love doing that. I was like, oh yeah, just these like after it fires, just like plasma's like dripping down on the ground. Like I did that commission. This one. This is so cool.
The free ignite.
Yeah, and where is it? Okay, right here. And these guys at the bottom. So there's a flag. I couldn't even like. So there's a flag and there's these tiny little dudes, and I'm imagining like you're fighting down here, and then there's that blue plasma is just like dripping on your head when you're avoiding the enemy the whole time, and then the whole Titan just a big plasma blob gets your buddy, dude. It's like splat. Yeah. It's like, oh, like what a way to go from a big plasma blob that just fell.
That's the thing. Those Titans do walk into battle with Skitarii running around their feet.
Yeah.
So although they might be slow and cumbersome, their stride is quite long. So obviously, you've got Skitarii going running along, and engaging other Skitarii and such and such. And Toffee Troll turns up. Hello, Toffee Troll.
Toffee Troll, thanks for making it again. Appreciate the support. Yeah, and thank you. So a lot of you are Patreon supporters and are like had donated and stuff. So thank you very much for that, because it allows me to get like the software and pay for this for streaming and everything. So that stuff goes directly into this. So appreciate it.
I do like.
This has been a busy show. This may have been our best one ever so far. Now we might have surpassed the other one.
Well, the one that got raided by the FBI and
hit the button. That was a tragedy. Oh, it's good that I even talked about it, because it reminds me. I'm like, do not hit that button.
Do not sound off any war horns.
I still didn't get. There's a couple sound bites. I can upload sound bites, and I still haven't done it yet. I'm like, I want sound effects, but it's just hard when I'm sitting here drawing, and it's like, oh, go hit a sound effect type thing. It's like it's probably why I try to practice a bunch, because it has to become second nature to work.
So you're just perfecting your craft.
Yeah.
Whilst doing your craft.
Yeah.
It's all about the craft.
Cool. Do you have to get running?
Yeah, no, that's me. I'm how did you meet, by the way? What? Me and Scott.
I saw your Titan. I don't even know what. Like, I saw your Titan painted over. I think you said something, and then I was like, "Want to have a YouTube show?" I don't even know.
Yeah, because
you come on YouTube.
Yeah, because you've done one with Matt, Miniature Apothecary.
Okay.
With his Iron Warrior dude, and I think just when you first started inviting people on, and so that picture I posted up that you liked, I wasn't going to post that picture up.
Okay.
I thought, because the other ones I posted up, I thought, but I saw it and I thought, I'll leave it in there. And the next minute you've messaged me saying, would you mind me painting over this? And I gone,
yeah,
go for it. And then you created awesomeness and invited me on to chat as you painted.
And that's the other thing I'm going to end up doing on some of the weekends is to have some more random guests on, and I'm like, I need to practice that too and do some stuff. So Well, thanks for being here again today, Lee.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate
Thanks to everyone in the chat for throwing in questions and being
Yeah, I'm going to stay
having a
here
good
for a
time.
little while and finish up some of this, and then I'm going to log off here shortly too.
I don't have a tattoo of a Titan, unfortunately. So
Oh,
uh,
Annex, best show ever.
there's too
Thank
many
you.
tattoos, and I don't have enough skin.
Not enough skin for a tattoo.
Oh, thank you, Axe, for the best show
Yeah,
ever.
appreciate it.
Yes, thank you very much. So if you
We're
want to
getting
go
there.
take me out, and I'll go and burn something down.
Yeah, burn it all down. What is the Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle where he's like, burn this down, Pookie? Where they're in the.
Pookie, was that Garfield's bear?
No,
Wasn't
that
it?
was in Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. They stop at that place, and the one guy's there. He's like, burn this down. Yeah.
Oh dear, oh the greats, Harold and Kumar. Oh bloody hell!
You have a good one, Lee.
I will do. See you later, everybody, and thanks for having me. And we'll see you. Well,
Wednesday.
I'll see some of you on Saturday, but I'll see you all here
yeah.
next Wednesday.
Will do.
And we'll do some more. Well, when Scott does all the paintovers, I'm just here. I'm just here to
I know.
drink.
I'm doing something now. We're gonna do you painting or something one of these times, and I'm gonna sit around. But I don't have your knowledge, so like at least you contribute with all the knowledge. So I would just be like making stuff up. You'd have to work and give knowledge, and then I would just distract you. I think it would be good.
Yeah. You're just a distractive influence. You are.
Yeah, I just distract you. All right, have a good one, Lee.
Take care. Bye-bye.
And I am going to do a little more on this. There's a couple. I of course bit off more than I could chew with these, but I almost tried like one or two more. But I like them, but they all need a little more work. Like this one, I love this one, but I got to bring some more highlights on it and a little more shading and stuff to get that to work right so it stands out. But I really like this one by Overton. And I am just going to finish a few things on these. I like this thing. I don't know what mini company this came from, but I'm sure it's in the tweet. But it was a great photo. One thing is awesome. Such a great angle on it. I keep seeing this as a title card. I don't know what name you would put in the top left, but it just looks cool for some sort of print media or something. Let's not wipe out anything. I do want to put a little more on this. I don't know what kind of area I'm working on here. Oh, that one's from Reaper. Okay, thank you. I'm familiar with Reaper, and they have some nice stuff. I haven't seen as much of it as some of the other companies, and that was another thing I was glad to kind of do Rain and Howl, just because I'm in a Facebook group now for basically Rain, my only Facebook group, and they've been posting. Someone posted like just like links to like, hey, these miniatures might be good for the game type thing, and it was cool to look at. I mean, there's some really good independent companies that you don't get to see all their stuff from, like the big companies. Yeah, the D&D stuff. I saw a bunch when I bought not a resin 3D printer, but the other ones, I don't know, a couple years ago. And I hadn't played games, mind you, in like decades, right? And I bought a 3D printer because I was like, oh, when I was younger, I would have wanted like this to make terrain. So I literally just started printing terrain and haven't played games in decades. I was like, oh, I'll get it and I'll print some terrain. So I got a bunch of like terrain for stuff. And then through that, I happen to see, they have such cool like systems for Dungeons and Dragons and all that. They have some incredible stuff out there. Like I don't even play, but I want like a dungeon city and miniatures to run around with. X says, "What is your commission timeline looking like?" I'm almost caught up. I have some um, like work coming in for a game company, and but that like I don't even know, probably a month and a half, so I'm fine. I got to do a bunch, but I'm fine on that. So if you wanted something, I could probably like 7 days time. Within 7 days, I would get it done for you. I was gone for doing a whole bunch of family stuff, so I was just now getting caught up. There's one I'm working on now, and then another one, and then I will be free to work on it. Thank you for asking. The only thing that bums me out, so be here and chatting with everyone, and Paul, I got yours from the other place, but when people they have like different names, I'll be talking, and I've seen like Mr. Spats and change the name, or in Toffee Troll, and so I was like getting like half confused. So it's always nice when I get the same names. This thing is so creepy. Great, like torso and that face, such a contorted face. I wanted to get brighter. So anyone who cares about the Paintover stuff, I try to like it has some great silhouettes. So I knew the dark around his arm and around these legs would look good with a brighter background. And I wanted the main explosion kind of, you got to have it center and behind that body. And I want to get it behind his sickle, but I think if I drag this bright spot too far underneath it, it'll ruin the overall composition. So that's the only part. I wish it was brighter behind that because you have a nice silhouette, but I don't think it'll work. I have started taking some of these into, not After Effects, Lightroom. And so all the minis terrain, no time to play. Yeah, I have a box, and it was like the best laid plans. I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna print this up, and I was printing like sheets, not sheets, but like, how they have that Adeptus Mechanicus terrain, but like you could print 6 of the front panels together. So it would be like I don't know, 6 by 8 inch piece that look, and I was printing multiple of them, and I don't even know what I wanted to coat. I was like, oh, I'll put like foam core board and then coat a big section of it with it so you could do like a massive building. Driving home from work. I know, and that's I might the worst time stream ever. I want to do something on the like a weekend, right? And so because obviously I'm in the States and people are still working right now and stuff, but I always do it now because I know, hey, I'm going to have energy. I know I get the paint overs, that kind of stuff. What's funny is it's not even that hot in here. I'm literally, from doing this, I'm sweating. Um, but I want something on the weekend, just to have some more random guests, have some Patreon members on and stuff like that, because I really like doing that. It's just I ended up getting a little more busy than I thought I would. So kind of had to adjust. I get excited. I can't help it when I just the paint overs and you get someone's just their mini and they put a lot of time into it, and what I dig is it's someone crafted it and they went through and they put thought in, and I'll sit here and I stare at them a lot. You're working however many hours on a paint over, so you're really paying attention to the little details, and you can really start to see like all the thought that someone put into it. It's like, oh, they did this and that little thing and they thought of this, and I just it's creative energy for me. Whereas King and Wolf, they probably, I know Wolf was here for a little bit, and King was here for most of the while. So he probably had to go do a few things. It's already been, I don't know what this is, hour and 45 minutes. I should get in the habit of streaming longer. But with these, a lot of what I do with a Paintover is I'll get probably like all these I did today, right? So in the morning, I cleaned up. I mean, it takes me, I don't even know, sometimes like 4 hours to get ready for the show. By the time I, download them all, uh, clean up the background. I put some base colors on or try to figure that out just so I'm not in a total panic when the show starts. And so, that's like my whole morning just to get, whatever, like a 2 hour stream in. We'll see if all this, whatever I'm doing on YouTube is worth it. But I think it is. I'll get, some people who are interested in it. And I love this, like chatting, just chatting and working on the stuff. It's better than just sitting here working by myself. So I dig that about it. So if nothing else, it's fun. Where did all that go? Oh, what did I want to do? I wanted to add the one Paintover I did for Rain and Hell. I love this effect. If I can find it. I did like just black away from the blade, like it's all, I don't know, poison or whatever it is. And I thought this blade, I want to do it some kind of ashy hell stuff. But are you in the USA? Yeah, I'm in the USA, so it's what is it? It's like, well, I'm East Coast time, so it's like 3:44 right here. And when I do it on the weekend, I'll probably I want to try. So everybody streams on Saturday night. Like I don't even know how many people I kind of not know, but who know have streams on Saturday night. So I'm like, I don't want to do a Saturday night. So maybe like a Sunday stream. I don't think late. I don't know what time on a Sunday I would do it. Maybe I would start about now or maybe a little later. So you try something like this. I don't know if it's dumb enough. I don't, or dumb or not. I don't think it fits this. The other one it fit because it was the blades. This might be a little bit overkill and tacky. Most of what I do is time spent erasing. I got to show. I One time I was drawing, I'm flicking so many layers. The a games mal who edits some of the videos for me, the fancier ones. Like I'll do some of the simple ones, but he does the ones with the good stuff. And it's me flicking layers. He has to cut out a ton of space because I'll literally sit there and it'll end up like this. I'll have a bunch of layers on, especially when I'm doing a commission, and I'll be doing this. I'm like, oh, with this, and I'll flick through a few layers, and he did it like I must have been flicking it for I don't know how long because it was probably like 40 seconds. And so he clips it out and makes like a little video and he's like, forget this. It's like, we're never doing these old ones again. Because especially when I was older, I was like even more like the old versions when I was like more worried and like didn't know as much as what I was doing. So it was like a total flick fest. Someone's going to get a seizure if they ever watch it. I don't know. Can it come out from the back of the blade? Yeah, I was so good call because I was thinking about in right in here in this area. So maybe that's where it'll end up. So I'm gonna try some, and I figure this is just on a layer, so I can wipe it out. So I just try to get some sort of shape going on to see if it's cool. And then I end up like wiping it out if it looks stupid because I don't know, making someone. I don't really like that. Like I almost want to like it, but it doesn't work. And I probably don't want to mess with this even. And the blade is not bad. What are you working on? What are you working on now, Toffee Troll? What's a model you're building, if any? If you go to Lee's channel, you have to bring your own minis so we can see how you paint. I assure you, it'll be poorly. I I think you heard me say it before. I opened that box of enforcers I bought. I laughed and I immediately slid them back in. They were so tiny, like the little details. And I'm laughing because I'm like, I think, I got relatively steady hands or used to have really steady hands, but then I'm like, man, what is that like now? So I basically want to film it because I'm going to be laughing the whole time as I try to do it. I'm going to go like seriously light and fast. Yeah, like that's good attempt, but no way. We're not putting that on there. Maybe I'll get some sort of texture that'll work. I want to start doing more sketches for the rain and hell stuff. I want to do some of the hellscape and that, like just for fun. It's got such a nice, clean, like aesthetic going on and clean lines. So I don't want to add a bunch of stuff. I keep trying it, but hey, thanks, Axe. Been doing some chores while watching. I appreciate that. I was gonna make some post about. I'm like, so you need 4,000 view hours in a year's time on YouTube to get, and it's a rolling calendar, right? So it's in the last 365 days. Do you have 4,000 hours of watch time? And I wanted to make like a tweet. So I'm at, what do I have? Like 540. So I basically need to do it like 8 more times, which I won't get to in the 365, but whatever. And I was like doing the math. I'm like, so you need like whatever 3,000, let's say 3,500 watch hours. And if I have a what? If you have a 3 hour, I don't have any. Maybe I do. Like if you had a 3.5 hour video, all you need is 1,000 people to watch it, just to click on it. They don't even know if you're watching it. Like click on it and let the thing run, and that would be it. I'm like, start clicking on it and leave it in the background of your PC. I think. Oh, see, I didn't do it. I should have logged into YouTube and watched this stream, and it would have counted as a viewer. Darn, I got to remember to do that next time. I'll take every viewer I can get. I'm watching. It counts. I count. I know. And I have Lee. It's great because he's got all that good, like the deep lore knowledge and that. And so that's why I'm going to try to at least, I did some of the books and that, but my memory's bad with that stuff too. So that's like I'm the worst. Like, I mean, dropping 40K knowledge. Like I'm sketchy on that. Axe says, I think I'll be able to work on a bit of rain and hell before I have to pick up my kid from school. Living the dream. Yeah. Yeah, they did good on that concept. I love like just that it seems like people will dig it. They can figure out whatever kind of cool demon they want to use from whatever system and build something to fit the game. So I think that's just like a great call by Adam and Vince to like tap into that and let people. I really can see that spawning creativity and the fact that they don't really die in that, so you get that carryover and everything. I think they got some really good stuff going on with it. So it's good to see it doing well. What an awesome looking. This one I'll end up going back on because something. It's not bothering me. I know it's lacking a couple things. I gotta do some like overall lighting. And I usually like pause for a while. I'll work on something for a while and then I take a good pause on it. That's why usually I'll do like two commissions at once. Because then that way I have something to go back and forth between, because I don't like to try to force something if it's not there. It's like something's missing and I don't know what, so let me just pause for a minute, and then fresh eyes usually helps, like especially if I view something like the next day. It's like, all right. Axe says miniature agnostic games are my main games these days. It does. See, I haven't been back to it long enough to catch. I've seen some of them come out, but as far as playing, I haven't. And it seems like I watched Adam's show a few times, whatever, a year ago, or no, not even, when he brought up they have like the one-page rules and stuff. That's pretty cool. I can see that, especially now. I used to love like the more overly complex the game was, the more I was into it, right? Like, so if it was like, oh, I got to know 5,000 rules just for my guy, I was like, cool. But now, like, no way. I have hard enough remembering like what I got to do during the day, let alone a whole bunch of rules. I mean, I guess if I was playing a lot and all that, sure. But right now, I'm so focused on this whole little empire thing. Rain in hell, yo. And then so it's because it's rain in hell. I did a couple of the time lapses, right, and I title them, and I was getting like a warning, like keyword warning, not from YouTube, but I use this little vidIQ thing to help me like get keywords, and it was like it's giving you like a I don't know what, not like like these words may upset the algorithm type thing, and I was just cracking up. They don't want you just running around raining in hell on YouTube. Sometimes they maybe warn you that we're not going to put your videos on whatever. And the other thing with a game like this, of course, because I like 3D printing, that it's like, oh wow, I want resin, and then pick your own minis or whatever. But a game like this, it gets me thinking, because it's small amount of units, scale it up. You know what I mean? So if it was doing 20, I'm like, oh, you could just resin print your miniature twice as big and then play on a board. I mean, obviously the terrain and stuff you'd have to remake or whatever, but I dug that about, like, 3D printing and stuff. You could kind of scale up something if you really wanted to, or make some cool scenery because of it. That's probably a little too bright right here. Cool color scheme on this too. I dig. I mean, I've distorted it a little because I put all the color around it, but I love that. That was a real. It's like subtle. I'll show the original. Yeah, I like that one a lot. Kind of like it was like muted, so it does give me that hellish kind of feel. It's not like a super bright saturated color on that thing. Yeah, I like in this. I like the version of like Hell, like, got trounce. So I was like, oh, cool. I'll make some like old hellish architecture that used to be intact and is like crumbling and stuff. So you could do some really tripped out, hellscape type stuff. Mm-hmm. What did we get for 2 hours and 2 minutes with 11 likes? I appreciate the likes. And I saw, it's probably too late. Someone's here. I don't know who it came from. I saw someone donated on Ko-fi or coffee. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. And then I'm probably going to take a break for now. I'm going to go eat something. Remember to pick up issue 465 of White Dwarf. So it's going to, I don't know if that's the delivery cover. This might be the delivery cover. I'm not sure. Oh, no, it's not. So that's the newsstand cover. Go pick that out. Axe, thanks for making it. Appreciate it. Thanks for posting that link as well in the Facebook group. This one I'm gonna end up lightening the face a little bit. I gotta lighten a few things on it just to get a little more depth in that. God, I love that thing. This I'll end up putting some more funky little bit of splatter and some more stuff around there and play with the light just a little bit more to get some depth and get him like kind of coming out of the ground or mire or glowing, whatever he's in. I actually like this one. This one's Hasker. I dig it. I try to do some lighting on the barrel. I always try to think of how I would handle this stuff like slightly different. That's why I do a bunch of them. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate you swinging by. Try to make it something. I'm learning, so I'm like I never thought about streaming before. The only reason I ended up streaming is because I'm like, well, I got the time lapses to do videos with, and if I'm actually working on something, why not try to put it out there and just see? It's like, if you're working, well, can't you like talk and work? which is harder for me than I would think. But still, that's why I'm kind of doing it. I'm like, all right, get in the habit, do it for a few years, and I'll learn something. So you all have a good one. Thank you very much for joining me, and I think I'm gonna log out right now. How do I stop this? I'll stop it here first.